Okay, so before we get started, go and make a cup of coffee or a tea tarak or a cup of tea
or a beer.
In England, or a beer, or pour a glass of wine or a gin and tonic or just a glass of water. But you'll need something because you ask the questions, and in this video we're going to answer them.
We're going to answer them.
But it's going to take a little while, so hang in there and we hope you enjoy it. Okay, so before we start, we'll show you where we are.
Yep.
It's a beautiful spot.
That's the Brisbane River, and we're right opposite where we are is the University of Queensland.
Yeah, that's right. So across the river here.
Yep.
And we're in Fairfield right now.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's 23 degrees.
Yep.
And hopefully you'll get to see this video tonight.
Well, we'll do our best.
But we've got to get through all these questions, so let's go. Okay. And I hope we capture every question, we don't miss one.
Yeah.
Bill Stewart asked, what are your favourite places from different decades around Brisbane, and what parts have changed for better or worse? How old do you think we are, Bill? Decades?
Well, the trouble is we haven't lived here for decades because we're from Victoria, Melbourne and Victoria.
So we've been in Queensland for...
2003.
Yeah, 18 years. And probably spent just over half that time in Brisbane, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bill's asking about changes for the better or worse.
Well, a lot has changed, even in the time we've been here, hasn't it?
There's been a lot of development in Brisbane, and so I guess you can say there's good things and bad things.
Yeah.
I guess one that would stand out for me, a good thing, would be the Howard Smith Wharf development.
Yeah.
That's, made that part of Brisbane along the river where the wharves used to be. It was kind of a bit of an eyesore before, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So it's fantastic, a fantastic place. But you can sit out on lawns, looking back at the river. Restaurant
precinct, it's really nice. And probably one of the things that I'd say that's really sad is the overdevelopment of West End, the suburb of West End, which was, we used to live in West End and we moved from there. It had a lovely community feel, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was such a nice area. Yeah. And it's been so overdeveloped with massive apartment buildings and clusters, and the infrastructure hasn't coped. And it's a shame. Next one is Nicole. How do I say that? Hoheya. Hoheya, Nicole. Sounds Hawaiian, doesn't it? Congrats, guys. I really enjoy watching your videos each week. My question for you is, I've just moved to Australia and I'd love to know some of your favourite Aussie foods and drinks that you'd recommend I try. Good question. Okay, say some of your favourite.
Well, Australian cuisine's really a blend now of Asian and food, isn't it? And Middle Eastern.
That's a cop-out. Come on.
I know, well it is. What have we got? Pies. Sausage rolls.
Yeah,
egg sandwiches.
Paul makes great sausage rolls.
Yeah, I do.
Don't you? Homemade sausage rolls.
Yeah, look, we have a broad range of food. Like I said, I suppose the old meat pie is fantastic. But
so some of the foods and drinks that you recommend that she tries, what would you say?
Well, you know, pavlova.
Yep, pavlova.
Yep.
And I'm sure we've got a few Kiwis out there that say the pavlova belongs to them.
Yeah, that's right.
Or maybe the Lamington. A couple of things that I think you should try. Well, they reckon the Parmigiana is Australian.
Chicken Parmesan.
Chicken palmy. Chicken palmy.
Yeah.
You can get that at the pub.
Yeah.
A good way, Nicole, to try out Australian cuisine would be to go to a good Aussie pub, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And that's where you'll get a good Aussie steak, or you'll get a chicken palmy, wouldn't you?
Or Parma.
Yeah, Parma. They nearly always have pavlova on the dessert menu, don't they?
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. What about Australian drinks?
Wow.
Australians love...
Ginger beer.
Yeah, ginger beer. So Bundaberg is in Queensland, and Bundaberg ginger beer is really famous.
Even when I was a young fella, my auntie, I think, taught me how to make ginger beer. So you can make homemade ginger beer. It's delicious.
Yeah, and when I was a child, we used to drink Milo. Milo is Australian, believe it or not. Yeah. I'm sure there's people all over the world, and especially in Asia, because I know it's popular there. But Milo came from Australia. Yeah, it did. And when we were children, we used to drink it cold with milk, and at night time, you'd sometimes have it warm with milk before before bed.
That's right.
Australians love beer. They love, I don't, but a lot of Australians love beer. They love a glass of wine, and they love their coffee. We have a strong coffee culture.
Very strong,
A lot more than tea. Yep. Probably Australians... probably more likely to drink herbal teas or green teas than black tea with milk, like the English people enjoy. So I hope that gives you some idea, Nicole, on the things that we like. Okay, Mooney Lim this is your question. A lot of people say Brisbane is a country town pretending to be a city. Is that true? What's the temperature over there? Is it very hot? Is it too crowded in public places? Brisbane has had a reputation of being like a big country town.
It has. Up until the 80s, I think, late 80s, it was. People would say it was just a big country town, but it's not anymore. I think in the late 80s we had Expo 88 was in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And ever since then, Brisbane has really boomed. On the back of mining further up, income coming through from there. And Brisbane is a very modern city now.
It is. Yeah. And we do have a smaller population. We have almost half the population of Melbourne.
Yep.
And we would have at least half the population of Sydney.
Yeah.
So it's a smaller city in that respect. The weather, it gets very hot in summer and humid. So maybe the temperatures don't get as high as some areas. Like we don't get in the 40s or things like that.
Mostly it's in the early 30s, but the humidity makes it feel hotter.
And it doesn't get as cool at night time over summer.
But then over winter, this is nearly winter here.
Nearly winter.
Winter's around the corner.
23 degrees.
Yeah, and I'm sitting in a t-shirt. Yeah.
We really don't have different seasons.
No.
Yeah, so it doesn't get really cold and wet like that. We do have rain usually over the summertime, but it's more like tropical, temperate tropical climate, I guess.
It's either wet or dry.
Wet or dry, and it can be very hot over summer. If you don't like the heat, have to really think about it. I know a lot of people in the last 12 months have moved up to Queensland and found it was just too hot. It's not unusual for us to have our air conditioners on 24 hours a day during summer.
That's right. Yeah.
So if you I like the heat, so it's fine. And I love to swim, but it's not great for everybody.
No.
So Tasmania, the little isle of Tasmania, which is part of Australia, that has a completely different temperature.
Yeah.
That's a lot cooler down there.
4 seasons.
Yeah, 4 seasons. And I guess all the states in Australia have different temperatures, so you'd have to really look at that.
Yeah, it's such a big country,
And is it too crowded in public places? No, not really. Not compared.
No.
I compare it to a lot of the capital cities in different countries that we've travelled to, and I would say that not really too crowded in public places.
No.
Okay, I hope that answered that question for you, Mooney. And next question. Oh, Orange Mecam 100. Hello. Nice to talk to you. I know you've been following us probably since the start, and you always have a good question or two. Let's see. How long have you lived in Brisbane? We just answered that one. So we've lived here about...
2009.
Yeah, okay. So it's not that long really, is it?
No,
12 years. Yeah, 12 years. And I wonder if I walked by you in the city in 1989.
No.
No chance.
Because we weren't here.
No, we were both living in Melbourne in 1989, so I'm so sorry. And I hadn't even been... Had I been to Queensland? No, I hadn't been to Queensland.
I had.
I hadn't been to Queensland by that stage. Yeah. And if possible, I'd like to see Beth and Paul cooking video, and we will organise that for you. I have to tell you something though. Paul does a lot of the cooking in our family, but I can cook, so maybe he can cook his Australian sausage rolls, which are really sensational. He's very good at them, and maybe I could cook a dessert that I do.
Good idea.
Yeah, good idea. Okay, Dave asks, my wife and kids are very keen to move from Melbourne to the Sunshine Coast in the next couple of months. We'd love to hear your story. And so, that's what we did, Dave. That's why you're asking, isn't it?
We sure did.
Yeah, so it would have been in 2003. Yeah, 2003. We were managing a holiday resort on the Gippsland Lakes in Victoria, and we'd been there for about 7 years.
7.5,
yeah. 7.5 years. We'd always loved the Sunshine Coast. We'd holidayed there a few times, and it seemed to be a good time to go to make that transfer, didn't it? Yeah. Matthew was in primary school, and our daughter Sarah was in secondary school.
Yep.
So we made that big leap of faith, and we're really glad we did. Yeah. So I hope that answers that question, and good luck, Dave. Let's see. I have a question for you. Ciao, Vincenzo. Come stai? Vincenzo from Piacenza asks, I have a question for you. Do you sometimes miss going to work? You answer that one first.
Well, yeah, I'm the one that retired. No, I don't. We've got plenty happening in our life. We do plenty of things like these videos, and that gets us out and travelling, even though, as everyone knows, we tried to travel through Southeast Asia, but not really. I worked for 40 odd years, so I'd had more than enough, to do.
Now, Paul enjoys, he gets some time. He loves cooking, so he can spend more time cooking.
Yep.
He loves reading.
Yep.
He can just kind of...
Yeah, I've just got time to myself.
Yeah, that's true. And I still work.
Yeah.
So I'm not retired. I work, I guess it's probably part-time hours, maybe 30 hours a week. And so I work from home. I work for a company in Melbourne, and I do administrative type work for them. So basically editing reports. That's what I do. It's a pretty boring job. It doesn't pay very well at all.
But it's flexible.
You know, it's that flexibility and being able to work from home. It's been great like that. So there you go. He doesn't miss work. Of course, I always give him plenty of jobs to do around the house as well, I've got to say, Vincenzo. Let's see, Tintin. When you watch sports, do you support Victoria or Queensland?
Well, it all depends. My football team is the Kangaroos, North Melbourne, so I'll always support them. I've been following them since I was 4. And yeah, if it was a Victorian football team playing someone else, I'd probably support them as well. But if my teams aren't involved, I'll barrack for the Brisbane Lions in the AFL, or I'll barrack for the Broncos if they're not playing the Melbourne Storm. So, you know, it's a bit each way.
We don't really know anything about NRL, but we'll always barrack for Queensland because we live in Queensland and we love Queensland.
When they have state of origin with New South Wales, we always support Queensland.
Yeah, but we don't really know a whole lot about it. No. And on the same, with the AFL, I follow Hawthorn. My family always followed Hawthorn. So all my extended family, we would barrack for the Hawks in the Australian Football League. So that's always the way. But, you know, other than that, I always back Brisbane Lions as well. So I hope that answers that one. That's a good question, though. Good questions. Shark Gennaro asks, what is your favourite destination in Australia and your favourite place to eat?
Oh, wow. There's a lot of great places in Australia to visit.
There are a lot of great places.
I don't know. Probably the Whitsundays.
Yeah, I think
beautiful,
the Whitsundays...
near the Great Barrier Reef.
They're really pretty.
Yeah.
The Whitsundays are beautiful. We will have to go back there, won't we?
Beautiful,
yeah. They're a beautiful place to go in winter because the temperature's warm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But Australia's such a huge country. Tasmania's beautiful.
But your favourite place? Do you have a special place?
Not really, no. I've travelled everywhere around Australia. I don't have a particular favourite place, no.
Yeah. No. I think I really like Mary Cairncross Reserve in the Glasshouse Mountains. It's beautiful. I just have happy memories there from when the children were young, taking them there and taking my backpackers there. That's a place that I told you about in one of the videos where my backpackers from Nepal asked me where the monkeys and the elephants were in the reserve, and I thought that was really cool because we don't have monkeys and elephants in our reserves, but I'm sure they do in Nepal. But yeah, I think Mary Cairncross, I think around that Glasshouse Mountains is really beautiful.
The Sunshine Coast is beautiful.
And another place I really like is after our recent trip, I love that Burleigh Heads National Park, Tully Budgerah to swim, and that Green Mount. That was really nice, wasn't it, for a favourite place? And nice what about favourite place to eat?
I'm not sure. Again,
it's hard. That's a hard one.
Yeah, I know my favourite place, but it's no longer around. It's in Melbourne, and it was called the Golden Orchid Malaysian Restaurant.
Yeah.
And I've been going there since 1975, so it's a long time ago. But I always loved it.
It closed during the COVID time. We were down in Melbourne recently, and we're very excited to go back, but it was closed.
It was closed, so that was
disappointing. Favourite restaurant.
But it was my favourite place to eat. Yeah.
And honestly, we have a lot of really good restaurants up here.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
And also in Melbourne too, where we visit. So it's really hard. There's not, to be honest, there's not one really sticks out more than another.
No.
But that doesn't mean that they're not good, you know. There's lots of good ones. That's probably a really difficult one to answer. Okay, so our next one is Bumps to Bundles asks, I'd love to know what the typical Australian makes at home for brekkie, lunch and dinner. I know barbecue is a big cultural element for cooking and Vegemite for breakfast, but what would you say is the norm? Or if this is normal, then maybe talk about what's traditionally served for holidays. I know meat pies are big too. Much love from Canada. Oh, thanks, Ashley, from Bumps to Bumbles and Giggles to... Oh, I can't read it all. But you know who you are. So, Aussie breakfast. Aussies love cereal. They love toast. On their toast, they can put Vegemite, jam, peanut butter. We love fresh...
Not all at once.
No, not all at once, all separately. We don't put jam and peanut butter together. No, that's American. That's not us.
No.
We love fresh fruit and yogurt, and
bacon and eggs though sometimes.
Yeah, bacon and eggs, or something like that, or eggs on toast, or just eggs.
Yep.
And what I have for breakfast, I have half a cup of rolled oats with half a cup of water, and I chop up half a banana and I stick it in the microwave for 2 minutes. Hang with me, sounds ghastly, but it's not. And then it comes out after 2 minutes, and I put 1 tablespoon of peanut butter and I mix it all around, and it's delicious. And it's supposed to be good for me too. So that's what I have for breakfast. I have that in a coffee. And Aussies, sometimes they have juice, for breakfast as well. Right, yeah. But lunchtime, sandwiches
normally.
Toasted sandwiches. Pies is probably something you have when you're on the run, or if you're at the football, if you're in a hurry, you know. So we like to have like rolls, baguettes, salads, wraps, things like that, don't we, for lunch? Yeah, and we like iced lattes and iced teas and sparkling waters, or just plain water. We drink a lot of plain water. Soft drink, some people like soft drink. So pretty much that's sushi. People have sushi too, don't they, for lunch?
Yeah, in the city, especially if you're in the CBD.
And we have all the takeaway chains that everybody else has. And then for dinner, in winter, we would have things like curries and stews, things like that.
Pasta.
Pasta, that's true. And barbecues, we do have barbecues year round. Just an easy way to cook your dinner, to go out and cook steak or burgers or rissoles, sausages, kebabs, all those kind of things. So Australians do love the barbecue, don't they?
Sure do.
And we have a pretty good variety of things, don't we?
Yeah, sure do. Like I said, we've had a lot of cultures come to Australia. So we have like Asian, Italian, European.
Yeah, we have a pretty good mixture, don't we?
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Okay, so Carl Niblock asks, we know very little about Beth and Paul, like work background, interests other than travel and vlogging, and we'd love to know more about you. And congrats. Thanks, Carl. Good question. But we did laugh when we saw this question, didn't we? We laughed because we don't see ourselves as the stars of the video. We see the places we go to as being the stars of the video. But we can tell you a little bit about us. Yep. You go first.
Oh, me? Okay. My interests, I've got a lot of interests. I love sport, like most Australians, but I love reading. I love, as you would know, travel. I've travelled all my life, even on my own. You know, I've travelled. But yeah, so they're probably my great interests. I love nature. I love being out in the bush or the forests. So
you love cooking.
Oh yeah, I love cooking. That sort of I love all that sort of stuff. But
and we do really enjoy walking. We spend a lot of time walking around. So we take our camera with us sometimes, and sometimes we don't. But we really love walking. Don't we?
That's what you do. Walking's a big part of our what we do.
Yeah, that's right.
What about you?
Oh yeah, and you really like music too, don't you?
I love music. I can't play, unfortunately, any instruments. I should have learnt, but I love music. All types. I'm very across from classical to rock and roll and everything. So pop music. Broad Catholic taste.
Broad Catholic taste.
Yeah, Catholic taste means you like a lot of different things.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I never heard that before.
Yeah, well, there you go. You learn something new.
Okay, let's see. What do I like? I like talking.
Number one?
Yeah. No, what do I like? No, I actually do feel shy in front of the camera.
You always find it difficult.
It really,
but it doesn't come across like that.
Yeah, it doesn't come across like that. And
very natural.
Surprises me when people say how natural I am, because I'm just being me. But I do actually find it difficult, especially if people walk past. I feel shy talking to a camera.
Beth has, that's right. But Beth has got a bubbly personality, very outgoing, very friendly. Yeah, Beth's a very caring person too. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
You are.
You can keep talking about me. Okay, so interests. Well, what do I like? I really enjoy reading, but when we're on holidays.
Yeah.
I love swimming.
Yep.
I love to go to the beach, and I love to go to the pool. And for a while there, we were doing water aerobics every week, weren't we?
Yeah.
Giving a little break because the temperatures got down to 23, 24. But I do really love swimming. That's something that I do really enjoy. I really enjoy my food, probably too much, but I'm being a bit more conscious of sugar now, and that's been good.
Yeah, it's been very good.
Not to really, try to eliminate sugar as much as I can from my diet. Yeah. But I do enjoy my food. Yep. And so that's good.
But and both of us, our family, our 2 children, we we try to spend as much time with them as we can without imposing ourselves on them.
Yeah, we do. We do spend time with our adult children, and we do like socialising with friends and catching up and having a drink. Yep. We like playing board games, doing things like that. So so I hope that answers that question. We're probably pretty boring or pretty normal. I guess there wasn't anything really. We don't do anything really out there, do we?
I don't go skydiving.
No, we certainly don't. No. Let's see. My question is, what suburb... Oh, this is from Sonny Nielsen. Sonny. So my question is, what suburbs would you recommend to a family moving to Brisbane? That's such a hard question.
It is a hard question, yeah.
It'd be like, you think of any capital city in any country and asking about the best suburbs, and it's really hard. A lot depends on, things that I guess that are really important to you. Do you want to live where there's you have a big block of land, or are you happy in an apartment? Do you want to live close to the city? Do you want to live further from the city? Budget, public transport. Do you need to travel by public transport for work? What schools? Do you need to be near schools? All those sorts of things. So I really did, I have looked at all these questions, and we really have thought about this one. And it's very difficult. It's probably fair to say that whether you're on the north, south, east or west of Brisbane, there are nice suburbs where you could settle with a family. And it really would come down to your budget and how much you like those suburbs. And I really think it's a great idea for people to spend a bit of time in Brisbane and drive around and have a look, because even after we've moved here and lived here for so many years, we're always finding places, even within a 10-15 kilometre radius of Brisbane, that we'd never been to before. So that's probably my best suggestion for you. I hope that helps you, Sonny. Okay. This is a good one. Chili Dude. Hello.
G'day, Chili.
Beth and Paul, what's your ultimate favourite food? And you're not allowed to say egg salad sandwich. Okay, I won't say egg salad sandwich. Go.
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, it's not an Australian meal. It's a thing called char kway teow. It's Malaysian, and it is my ultimate favourite.
It is your favourite, isn't it? Yeah, we love Malaysian food. Yeah.
What's yours?
I think, and it's funny because it's not Australian either, I think shepherd's pie. So those people in the UK, you know what I'm talking about. Shepherd's pie is made with mince or minced up meat, and it has mashed potato on top, and it's just like one of those nice comfy foods. Yeah, shepherd's pie. And then if I had to have it, like if it was winter and I was making a shepherd's pie and I was making a dessert, I'd probably do like a chocolate self-saucing pudding in the oven. You know, one where it floats up and it gets really high, and it's got this beautiful crunchy but inside fluffy chocolate cake, and then you cut it open and all this chocolate sauce oozes out. That's like my favourite dessert.
Beth makes the best chocolate self-saucing pudding.
And I always say to my family, because we might do that in winter, right? And I say to my family, if I ever end up on death row, and we don't have death row in Australia.
No.
So I'd have to do something diabolical overseas. But if I ever ended up on death row and it was my last meal, it would be shepherd's pie and chocolate self-saucing pudding.
Yeah, you did. There you go.
I like my father was Scottish, so I like, some Scottish thing. I like, they would have kippers for breakfast and things like that, and porridge, so some things from my childhood haggis. I really enjoy. Haggis.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, anyway. I mean, it does taste nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so I hope that answers that question. Okay, this one is, and I hope I pronounce this okay, Daichi Okamoto, and I think it's Daichi, and maybe it's a Japanese name, do you think? Sounds Japanese. So, who does the editing? Which software do you use to edit your videos? And which model of GoPro do you have? I know the last question. It's a GoPro 8.
Black, yep.
Black, yep.
That's right.
Okay.
And we're just very basic. We use I just use iMovie.
Which is free.
Which is free, yeah.
Yep.
And
you normally do the editing.
I do the
first run.
Yeah, I do the first run, then Beth has a look, and we both get involved in it.
Yeah, both involved. So, Paul, we will...
we have very animated discussions. Put it that way.
We do. So, Paul, after we do all the videoing, Paul will come back, and that's when I usually start to nag a little bit and say, how's the video? Have you uploaded the video yet? How's the editing going? and then he'll upload the video, and he'll run through and do the first edit and take out, things that are obvious, like we've turned the camera on without realising, or things like that. And then he'll do the first cut, and then he'll say, okay, I've got it from, say, 40 minutes down to 15 minutes, and you have a look. Then I'll do the next one, and then he'll have another look, and then I'll have another look, and then it's normally fine.
To it, and
we put music. So it's really a combined effort.
Yep.
So, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, definitely.
Yeah. And that does take time.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's almost like a little unpaid job that you've got doing that since you've retired.
Yep.
Let's see. Question for Beth. You're always so natural in front of the camera. Do you have acting experience? Oh, this is Maron. So, do I have acting experience? Theatre performer or a public speaker, perhaps? No, I don't have acting experience, and I'm not a theatre performer. I have had some experience in my working life, I guess, with public speaker. Do you think?
Yeah, you have. Yeah. Well, when you were managing resorts or hotels. So I guess I've had a really varied work career, and I won't go into all of it because it would probably be boring and would go forever. But I did spend a number of years in the government in Victoria, in Melbourne, and then we moved to the Gippsland Lakes in Victoria, and we managed a holiday resort there. Whilst we were at the holiday resort, I studied a Bachelor of Tourism by correspondence. You say correspondence because things weren't 100% online in those days. I used to have to post off my assignments. And so after managing that resort for 7.5 years, we've always enjoyed, Queensland holidays and love it up here. And we both had family up here. We both had brothers up here. So we moved up to Queensland, and I took on a job as a general manager in hotel at Mooloolaba. So and from there worked in two different, a 4.5 and a 5-star hotel as a general manager. So that gives you a bit of background. So I guess I'm not a theatre person. I have had to talk publicly. I've been heavily involved with tourism. Would be fair to say. Yeah, very.
And one of the roles I had on the Sunshine Coast was manager of the visitor information centres, and there were 6 for the Caloundra City Council, wasn't there?
Yep.
So I guess that's where my passion, I guess, for tourism comes from, and that's probably what you're seeing in the video, and that's why I find it easy to talk about, because it's something that I genuinely like, not just being the traveller, but trying to show other people and share places that you may not be able to visit, but we could share it with you through the video. So that's where that comes from. And don't worry, you don't get out of a question too, because Maron has a question for you. Question for Paul. I know you retired early last year. What industry were working in? I sense banking or finance vibes.
No.
Well, you did have a finance background, though, didn't you? Kind of.
Sorry, no, I wasn't going to say it was banking or finance, but in government in Victoria, like Beth, I worked in the government, and that was in the financial area and human resources. And then, like Beth said, we moved on. My last job was working for a very large corporate law firm in Australia. I'm not a lawyer, but I worked in the administrative side of things, managing that area or assistant manager in those areas.
Yeah, so in the business services.
In the business services group, we ran the law firm. Yeah, and from an administrative side.
Let's see what the lawyers have to say about that.
Well, they wouldn't burn out a lawyer if it wasn't for us. So maybe that's where the vibe comes from. Yeah. So that's what I was doing. When I retired. So.
Yeah. Oh, here's a good one, and I can't say who this is from, but I will pop it up on the screen. because I can't read it. It's in their language. And it's congratulations on 1,000 subscribers. What is the coldest place you have visited in Australia? Can be together or individual travels.
Yeah.
One place. We're both probably going to say the same place. Okay, I'll go 1, 2, 3, and you say the coldest place. Ready? Coldest place you've ever visited in Australia. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hobart.
Tasmania. Hobart in Tasmania. So that's the coldest place we visited.
It was really cold.
It was freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cold. And it was October, November.
October, yeah.
And it was so cold. Really icy wind.
Yeah.
So look up Hobart in Tasmania, because that's freezing, but it's very beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
We lived in Victoria then, so it's not like we went from Queensland down there.
Yeah. S. Hawkins asks, what other countries have you visited in the past? And do you have family and close friends overseas? And which places are on your list for visiting one day? Okay, so we have been lucky. We have travelled a fair bit, haven't we?
Travelled a lot.
Yeah, a lot with the kids.
With the kids, when they were younger.
Yeah, and we do have, I have Scottish relatives in Scotland.
Yeah.
And through our travels, we have made a lot of friends, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've been lucky. I guess it's fair to say we've been to a lot of countries in Asia. We haven't been to Korea and we haven't been to Japan.
No.
But we've been to all the others, I think.
I'd love to go to Japan. Yeah. And Korea.
Yeah. We haven't been to India.
No.
So India is on our list
Matthew
one day.
our son,
and he's telling us that we should go.
Yeah.
We've been to a lot of countries in Europe, but we haven't been to Turkey. No, but we've probably been to...
Haven't been to Eastern Europe. Oh, we did a little bit.
Yeah, some of it we did.
Yeah,
we did too. We did. We went to Slovakia and Czech Republic and
Hungary.
we haven't been to Croatia.
No,
haven't been to Croatia. So we've been to the States, haven't we?
UK, of course.
New Zealand and
States,
some of the Pacific Islands. Where else? We've been to Indonesia. I've seen a lot of Europe. But the best thing about travelling, I think travelling really does broaden people's minds, and it breaks down barriers, and you make some wonderful friends.
Yeah.
So we've made some terrific friends overseas. We stayed in London 6 years ago. In London, we stayed with this young girl called Laura in London in her Airbnb, and she was the most amazing host, and she's truly become just a lovely girl and a friend to us, hasn't she, Laura? And we've watched her. She's got married and she's had a baby. She's got her own little family. Yeah. But she's like such a special person.
Yeah.
And there's also another very special family that live in Boston.
Yeah.
And on one of our trips, we went on a bus tour around Europe when Matthew was very young. And on that trip was this really lovely honeymoon couple.
From Australia.
Yeah. We went on this trip with this Australian honeymoon couple, and now they live in Boston, and they're lovely, and they've been married for all that time, and they've got a few children, and very special friends as well. So you meet the most special people when you travel. So we think travel is just wonderful. On our wish list, we definitely want to go back to a lot of countries that we've been to, don't we?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Malaysia. We'll probably go back and redo the trip we missed out on. We'll probably start at Vietnam again.
Yeah, probably start Vietnam, go through Malaysia and Thailand.
And start that way. That would be a really great thing to do, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Okay, next question. Oh, okay. This is the best question, because there was quite a bit of discussion with this question. Vu Can, hello in Vietnam. Let's see, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Vu Can. Okay, may I ask how you two met each other in the first place? And what are your secrets to being in love over the years? And then there was a few people joined into this conversation. Derek Traveller said, great question, I wanted to know that myself. And very true. So Wayne Kerr said that he thinks that we met each other at work, and we mentioned that in our Noosa video. Good pick up, Wayne, because that is true. So how did we meet each other?
Yeah, we met each other at work.
At work, when we were both working in the office for the government in Victoria, in Melbourne. And I think I was just working at my desk, and Paul was like peeking over the petition, looking at me longingly.
No, that's not how it worked. Beth started work with us and marched straight up to my desk and said, "Hi, I'm Beth. How are you?"
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I do.
No, I don't remember that.
But she was her usual bubbly self, and I thought, wow, she's full of personality.
That's not true.
It's true. It is true.
That is not true.
Anyway, I wasn't looking over the petition anyway.
No. So we were working in the same, in the finance department for a government agency. Yeah. And we were workmates, workmates, and became good buddies. And then it's funny because if we got invited to something like a wedding, and you needed a +1, I'd ask Paul, can you be my +1 for this or whatever? And I don't know, it just kind of went from there, didn't it? Blossomed from there. Yeah, that's what it did. And as far as like being in love, what did you say, Vukan? I can't remember now. Secrets to being in love over the years.
You have to be considerate of the other person's needs and wants. Sounds like a job interview.
It does. It does. I don't know. I think if you share the same goals, there's a big thing. You share the same
goals. Yep. Absolutely.
Or same values, probably.
Yeah, and values. That's probably a big thing.
Yeah, share the same values. But one thing that, and I don't know where I got this from. I don't know who ever told me this, but you never go to bed cranky. You never go to sleep at night and then wake up cranky the next day, still cranky with someone. Do you know? It's better to, talk it out if you've something that you're not happy about. Do you think that's true?
Yeah. Very true. Yeah.
I'm a very much glass half full person, so I always try and see things. I don't even try; it just kind of happens.
No,
do
you're
you think?
Positive. You're very positive.
I guess I'm a positive kind of person.
I'm a bit more conservative, probably, but Beth's enthusiasm and positivity rubs off. And that's why we've done what we've done over the years. So much travel, so much. We took big leaps of faith in our own abilities when we left the government with the young children and things like that. Yeah,
it was a big thing, wasn't it?
But we had confidence in each other. To be able to do those things. So
So I hope that answers that question. Seeing there was a few people were very interested to know. I wonder how many people are still watching. Are you still there? Maybe you're a bit bored and you've gone to sleep. Let's see. We love our wines. Amanda Flack says, we love our wines and ciders. Would you know where to go to sip some ciders brewery or winery in Queensland? And Amanda, we can't even recommend a place because there are so many places in Queensland and all over Queensland, because everywhere we go there's cider places and breweries now,
microbreweries, cider places,
and Brisbane has a lot as well. So, and we're always coming across ones that we'd never seen before. You walk past them or you drive around the corner. So all I can say is that yes, they're here and we have a lot of them, don't we?
In the suburbs, in the regions.
That's so true. This one was Janice Harvey
Neats.
Is it Neats?
Neats.
Janice Harvey Neats, who talks about being in the process of moving from the USA to Surfers Paradise. And you talk about Upper Coomera, but I think you think...
Coomera?
It would be Coomera. And you're talking about the price of 2 to 3 bedroom small homes in the Upper Coomera. And I would suggest looking at a real estate website... in an Australian one, and it's called realestate.com.au, and there's another one called domain.com.au, and then you can filter for how many bedrooms and how much your budget is, and put in Upper Coomera, and then you'll be able to, it will give you a better idea. But to give you some idea, I think it takes about an hour and a quarter by public transport if you were commuting from Upper Coomera to Brisbane, and you'd be doing that by train, and that would take you into Roma Street Station or Central Station.
I think Griffith do have a campus on the Gold Coast, do they?
No, they do. They definitely do. Yeah, that's right. They do. And they also have one at South Bank as well. Okay, so Emma Hale asks, where would you go on a special night out in Brisbane? And there's lots of really nice restaurants in Brisbane, so it would be impossible to choose just one. So I really like Greek food, so I'd probably go to a nice Greek restaurant. There's a couple of nice Greek restaurants on the river in the CBD, isn't there?
One down Howard Smith Wharves.
There is. What would you do for a nice night out?
Yeah, probably something similar, because Howard Smith Wharves is nice. They've got lots of restaurants. South Bank has got fantastic restaurants.
Yeah,
even the
true.
CBD has some pretty good restaurants along the river as well.
Yeah. So there's plenty of choice here if you have a special night out, Emma. That's for sure. You also asked about the suburbs best for a family, which I think we kind of covered. We won't list all the suburbs because there's just so many, and it really comes down to what things are really important to you, whether it's proximity to the city, what sort of budget that you have, what sort of style of home that you're looking for. And I guess to give you some idea, as I mentioned before, if you look at online at any of these real estate websites, and they would be able to show you what you get for your money.
That's a good idea.
And to put it this way, there's not too many dodgy areas in Brisbane. It's a very safe city, and it's really livable, walkable city. Very popular for people. Like there's a lot of bike paths now, isn't there?
Yeah.
So and the traffic is not too bad, not like Melbourne and Sydney.
No.
So you also asked where ladies buy their clothes and have their hair styled, just like anywhere else, I guess.
Yeah.
Department stores, boutique stores for clothing. Same with hairstyling. Yeah. And where there's good boat yards, I have no clue.
No, me either.
No clue. Near the water, I guess. I'm guessing it would be. I'm sure there's boat yards on
on the river.
On the river,
probably
on the
down
coast.
near the port. Port of Brisbane.
Probably. Sims asks, as I'm from England, where we don't have any deadly bugs, I would love to know about the kind of insects and wildlife you have in Brisbane and how you cope with them. And probably everybody except for Australians think that our insects are a big deal, and our wild animals, don't they?
Yeah, I think so.
We don't really think.
Well, we've been brought up with them.
So we're used to like geckos, the little lizards that you can see. We
Snakes.
used to. There's
pythons.
Yeah, you don't see snakes around.
You don't see them a lot, but they're around. They'll be down there somewhere.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. We did see one on our footpath. I was walking in the dark a few weeks ago, and I had my phone out, and I just saw the glimmer of a little black eye, and I was just about to stand on this snake. I was probably this far from it, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And first thing I thought was, I tried to film it because I thought you'd like to see it and how close it was.
It's too dark.
And it was a brown snake, so it was a very poisonous one. But it was too dark. I mean, I did get photos, but you can't really see because it was pitch black.
Yeah.
But that's very rare.
That's rare. I mean, we're probably around this area. You get snakes because of the river.
And the bush,
And the bush. There's a lot of parks and that around here.
We don't see a lot of spiders. And honestly, with snakes, if you don't bother them, they won't bother you.
No.
And spiders,
Well, there are deadly spiders, but we never see them.
Yeah, we never see them. That's the same thing.
And if you see a spider, you just
ignore it, leave it alone,
move it away.
and you'll be fine. It's not like these insects go out looking for you, or these, they're going out to hurt you or kill you.
And like we said earlier, we've just grown up with it, so we've just become used to it. One
of my favourite presents when I was a child was a bug catcher.
Oh yeah.
And you get this bug catcher, and you can go around the park or in your backyard, and you can collect little insects and
Christmas beetles. Remember?
Beetles and slugs and snails and moths, and we'd collect it all in the bug catcher and watch them all eat each other. And it was like that was my Christmas.
And we have a thing called a blue tongue lizard. As children used to keep them as pets.
Yeah. They kind of look like a snake a bit, don't they?
They do a bit, but it's just something we're used to. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is Derek Traveller. It's Derek Traveller who started off this Q&A, so better listen to his questions. What will the Beth and Paul channel look like when you hit 100,000 subs?
Gee whiz.
Well, I can't imagine that ever happening, Derek Traveller. Yeah. But it would probably look very similar to now, I guess.
Yep. Maybe a bit of editing.
Maybe.
And cameras, but
maybe we'll improve on our editing skills and things. Hopefully we get a bit better at this. We still feel very much like beginners.
Yeah.
When travelling restrictions are lifted in the near future, which country will you visit next? Vietnam.
Yep.
Do you have any tips for people travelling to Southeast Asia for the first time? Southeast Asia is fantastic. It's so wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
The food.
People are wonderful.
The people,
lovely,
the smells, just everything about it. The nature.
Yeah.
Just the differences. Between coming from home and going to Southeast Asia, and for Australians, the proximity. It only takes us about 9.5 hours till Malaysia.
Or thereabouts,
say to Kuala Lumpur, and we love Kuala Lumpur. We love Malaysia, and we follow. Big shout out to Daryl. He has a YouTube channel called Wander Eats, and we love his channel because he shows us nice food that you can eat in Malaysia, and he's a really nice person. And we found Daryl because he interviewed someone from another channel that we really enjoyed called the Cycling Canadian,
Doug,
and that's Doug. And Doug probably wouldn't be watching our channel, but he has answered our questions when we have asked him like you guys are. And so Doug is a Cycling Canadian who's currently held up in Mae Sot in northern Thailand, and he's been there for a few months because of the current COVID situation. So just like you, we follow other people around on their travels as well, and we really enjoy that. So we hope that, I know I got a bit distracted then, but I hope that answers your question, Derek Traveller. And the next one, that was about travelling tips to Southeast Asia for the first time.
Just be prepared, have an open mind. Everything's fantastic. Depends on where you live, but the costs for us are cheaper.
It works out cheaper. And a tour guide said to us, and I'll never forget it, the best bit of advice to give someone going to a completely different country, when you're talking about an open mind, is to think it's not good, it's not bad, it's just different. And it's true, isn't it?
It's often the differences that make it exciting.
Make it exciting. So I hope that answered your question. Okay, Miss Serenity Jones asked about our jobs before retirement, and we've covered that pretty much. Is there any other part of Australia or the world you'd like to live?
Well, there's lots of places in Australia,
in Australia, in the world. We love Queensland though.
We do love Queensland. I mean, Tasmania is beautiful, we mentioned, and so is Victoria, but it's a bit cold for us now. We've got used to the warmer weather up here.
If you were to pick, okay, we'll go 1, 2, 3, and you choose the country. If you're only allowed to choose one country in the world to live in, where would it be? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Malaysia. I knew you'd say that. I know, because I like Malaysia too. We love Malaysia.
Yeah, we do.
And it's close, for our children.
I like Vietnam too.
I really like Vietnam. I could probably live in...
Beth's been to Thailand. I haven't yet, so...
I could live anywhere in Southeast Asia.
Me too.
It's fantastic. But I'd also like to live in Scotland for a while, just to know what it's like, because it's where
your heritage.
Yeah, that would be a nice thing to do. Okay, so the very last question was one that we missed from Tintin. It was the second part of your question, and it was, what do we miss about Melbourne?
Football, fish and chips.
4 seasons.
Yes, definitely.
Autumn leaves. Yeah, they're the main family, friends.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what we miss about Melbourne.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all the questions that we have for you.
Yep.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that we think we've answered every question that people asked us, and we're sorry that it's such a long video.
And we've enjoyed answering them too.
Yeah, it was really good. We're a bit overwhelmed, I guess, that you would want to ask or know so much about us, because we're really just normal people,
and
just
we really
like anyone
appreciate
else.
that you took the effort to do it.
Yeah, we really do. I think it's really nice, and it's really great. That's one thing that we're really proud about this whole channel is what a nice little community it is, where everybody's nice to each other.
Lovely people.
And comments are nice, and it's just lovely. So we hope that answers your question. And we will take you somewhere really nice next week to make up for this big, long talking one.
Okay. Take care, everyone.
Thanks. Bye. Hi Amani, you asked about Vegemite, so I'm going to show you what Vegemite looks and tastes like. Here we go. There's a jar of Vegemite, it's opened. Vegemite is chock-a-block full of vitamin B, and it's made of yeast extract with barley and wheat. And the thing with Vegemite, a lot of people think because it looks like chocolate spread, and they put it on thick like chocolate spread, but that's not what you do. You need to put it on really thinly. So we put it on toast, probably about that much, and very carefully I put it on, really spread it, try and spread it thin. Like that. Let's see. Yum. Kind of tastes, it tastes salty, it tastes malty, it tastes a little bit like a beef stock cube, but it's really nice. When it's put on thinly, it's a really nice thing, and Australians like to have it on toast sometimes for breakfast. So I hope that if you have the opportunity to try Vegemite, that you follow these instructions and that you enjoy it.